I feel like right now Nissan is so freaking happy about all these recalls on the Tacoma, and it couldn't have come at a better time for Nissan because these past few months they've been in the spotlight alongside Stellantis for being in trouble with its dealership franchisees. Although technically Nissan is doing a little bit better than last year, would they have if Toyota wasn't doing so badly this year? I asked myself this following question while thinking about these two, and if you were to ask me if I would rather pay full MSRP for a Tacoma or get 10% off a Frontier, that would actually be a very tough decision for me to make. I truly love the Tacoma, and I think regardless of Nissan's history with reliability, they could have compelled me to want to give them a try if they didn't treat their vehicles as an afterthought. However, with that being said, given that money talks, if I were in the market for a pickup and a strong deal were to present itself, maybe I'd shake hands on a Frontier over the Tacoma. In this video, I want to break down the 4 most important buying factors if you're interested in a Nissan Frontier, including real-time sales and inventory data, the discount I would target off MSRP, current incentives in the lease program, and lastly, I'll tell you as a car guy what I would do personally. All the supplemental data I'm going to go over in this video is going to be in a summary you can access by clicking here or the link in the description below. Are you ready? Let's go. So what constitutes a good sales year for Nissan when talking about the Frontier? One of its best years in the last 20 was actually in 2022, believe it or not, where they managed to sell 76,000 Frontiers. And if I can recall, this was the year they redesigned it and took advantage of the inventory situation to really rip off customers by charging over MSRP. If we were talking about a year where there wasn't any nonsense like this being served up, then 2016 is a solid year to look at, where they put out about 86,000 units. And by comparison, a strong year for the Toyota Tacoma is about 250,000 units sold. So 86 versus 250. What about this year? Well, this year Nissan has used Toyota's situation to fuel its own sales, and they've managed to sell 56,000 of them so far. By comparison, amid intense brand-wide recalls, Toyota has still managed to sell about 127,000 units. This figure was about 234,000 units at the end of 2023. But it's so weird because Nissan has so far outsold Honda, GMC, and Ford for the Ranger, and not too far behind the Chevy Colorado. Inventory-wise, Nissan, Toyota, and Chevy have got some cars to work with here. It seems like supply is right in line with demand. Nissan has about 13,000 Frontiers, Toyota about 20,000 Tacomas, and Chevy about 14,000 Colorado. I noticed that a lot, like nearly half of the Frontiers were rear-wheel drive, which is not something I see too often. Usually it's around like 15 to 20% of inventory, but of the 13,000 Frontiers, 6,000 are rear-wheel drives and 7,200 are 4x4s. Inventory is primarily concentrated on SVs and the Pro 4X. Actually, the most they have of one particular trim and configuration is the Pro 4X Crew Cab 4x4, and I really think we should use that for this guide. It's the perfect price point, actually. The Pro 4X I've got picked out has an MSRP of $44,130. I want to go for between 7 to 9% off the MSRP. I'm leaning more towards 9%, but 7% should do if you're in a tougher market. Actually, flat out, I'm just really looking for about $3,000 off the sticker price before I start subtracting any rebates that are available, which there are. Nissan's current incentives aren't crazy, but they may actually be exactly what most buyers need. They're doing about 3.9% promotional financing at 60 months, 4.39% if it's a 2025. Also, if it's 2024, they're offering $1,000 in an extra rebate you can subtract, which I will, and my adjusted target selling price would become $40,130. The lease program is cool, actually, and I was pleased to see that Nissan finally woke up and dropped the money factor on their leases. Hopefully this helps them actually sell some cars. The Frontier has a 64% residual at 36 months and 12,000 miles per year and a 0.00105 money factor. Also, don't forget that $1,000 is also available if you're leasing. Plugging this all into the lease calculator, assuming you got 9% off the MSRP, assuming you paid your inception fees due at start, and assuming you hit like and subscribe, we'd be talking about $402 a month, and that's not including your state's sales tax. What would I do personally? Well, if I were to finance the Frontier, and if we were going to finance it using the promotional APR and the $1,000 extra bonus cash and getting 9% off, etc., it would cost us about $700 a month. The total cost of a lease like this would come out to roughly around $17,000 over the 3 years, and it doesn't seem all that unreasonable between the low depreciation and the money factor being like 2.5% APR. This has Lease It Brand New written all over it for me, you guys. Everything that I mentioned in this video is available for you by clicking here or the links in the description below. If you'd like to book a quick call with me to discuss your situation, my schedule is in the description box below as well. If you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.